Hello and welcome to another episode of the Next Level Her podcast. I'm your girl, Pauline Walker, and this is the space where real journeys, real growth, and real you come to life. You and me. Today's topic is letting go to level up. It is about releasing what no longer serves you. So, yes, I'm excited about this topic. Are you ready to let go? Okay, let's dive in. All right, listen. We all know letting go isn't easy, okay? I know it's not easy. But let's talk about why it's so hard. Even when we know it something, whatever it is, no longer serves us, why is it still hard to let go? Well, we know we have to let go. We know it intellectually, but for some reason, it's so hard to do. But I think one of the main reasons why it's so hard for us to let go, for one, it's scary. We don't know what to expect on the other side. The other side is unknown territory. So we're cautious and we resist letting go. It's much more comfortable to stay put and not take any action or take any chances, risking losing what we currently have, even if it no longer serves us, to getting something else that we don't know. Okay. After all, even if we don't like one current situation, if we don't like the situation we're in, it is still familiar. It is still familiar to us. So it's easy to want to hold on to it because we know how to navigate what is familiar to us. Because we know it, we can, hey, go left, go right. It's comfortable. We know it. It's easy. And we know what to expect with our current situation. The unknown, not so much. We don't know what to expect. We don't know how to navigate. We don't have the blueprint. We don't have the details. We don't have the outcome. We don't have the result. We have nothing with the unknown. But with our current situation, we know, at least we know, most things. So it's so easy to stick to and hold on to the familiar. One of the feelings we may experience when we try to let go is fear of loss. Our current situation, even if it no longer serves us, we're still afraid of losing it. I don't know. I don't know why. I think we're just we're used to what's familiar. We're comfortable. And so even what is familiar to us, even if we know we should let it go, we still get some type of fulfillment from it. We still get some type of assurance from it, right? We still get some type of security. So even if we don't like it, we know we should let it go because of those things and because of the little things that seem to be great. We still hold on to it. We're afraid to lose what we have now when what's on the other side isn't guaranteed to be better. So yes, the grass on your side may not be as green. It might be brown, but at least you know it's brown. The grass on the other side, we don't know how green it is. We don't know if it's brown. We don't know if it's dark. We don't know. So we don't want to lose out on our current brown grass because in our mind, it is better than nothing. Who wants, because we don't know what the other side holds, nobody wants to trade in a brown grass for another brown grass. Or sometimes our current grass could be brown, but the other side might be not completely brown, but it ain't all the way green either. And sometimes we feel like, well, it's not good enough for me to switch to this less brown grass when it's not enough because the risk of losing your comfort for a little bit better is not enough. It's not motivating enough to want to make you let go. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes when the other situation is only 1% better, you're not willing to be uncomfortable for 1% better. Now, some people will take that risk and let go, but someone's like, this ain't worth it, right? Another feeling we can experience when with letting go or make it hard for us to let go is fear of failure. We don't want to let go because we don't want to fail. At least with our current situation, we know we can keep taking strides, we can keep pushing through. And if it's failing, you're at least comfortable and familiar with that failure. But on the other side, if you take the risk to let go and then you fail, you just feel like an extra failure. You're like, what's the point? I was already failing in one thing. Why go try something different and still fail? So we have that fear of failure. What if we cross to the other side and it doesn't work out? What if I don't make it? What if it's worse off than what I previously had? We don't want to be disappointed and we don't want to fail and ultimately look bad or be embarrassed. Lord knows we don't like to look bad. We don't like to be embarrassed because, pride, Yes, pride can get in the way because we don't want others to see us fail. We can start to worry more about what others may think about us, how they perceive us. And because of that, we just decide not to try because our pride is too great. Our pride won't take the chance on the potential next level hurt, right? Another reason why we might be afraid to let go is fear of change. Yeah, that's a real thing. Fear of change. We're afraid to change because one, we may not recognize ourselves. Others may not recognize us or accept us. We may change, and yes, you may like it, but sometimes we're afraid of change because of how it will impact others around us. And we're also afraid of that change because what if we can't stay the course? A lot of times when we decide to say, like for me this year, I'm working on discipline. Ugh, discipline is kicking me in the butt, okay? But sometimes I hate mentioning that I'm working on discipline because what if I don't get disciplined? And then at the end of the year, it's like, okay, looking like Boo Boo the Fool. So sometimes we, shy away from sharing what we're working on because we're afraid of not becoming that. Sometimes we're afraid of becoming that, making that change, but afraid that people can't handle the change. Afraid that you will lose other things around you, potentially lose people around you because they can't handle the change. We want to protect them from feeling a certain way. I know for me, when it's hard for me to celebrate wins a lot because I don't want to look like I'm gloating and I don't want other people to feel bad. So sometimes, we'll make a change. And although it's a great change for us, we're still worried about what other people are thinking. That people-pleasing nature just seems to never want to go away. Whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever questions that may concern you, it's all valid. And it's real. Those are real feelings and emotions we go through and sometimes can hinder us. Let me share a time where letting go was so needed, but so hard. You see, before I entered the entrepreneurship world, after graduating college, it took maybe about It didn't take a long time to get a job, but it felt long. Okay, it took me about 3 months to get a job, but it felt long because all my other friends were already working. I'm like, oh Lord. Okay, that's when you start comparing, you know. But when I did find the job, it was great, and I was there almost a decade, and boom, I got hit with I don't think I want to be here anymore. This is no longer serving me. It eventually became apparent that it was time to let go. But although intellectually, mentally, I knew it was time to let go, everything in my bones and my spirit was telling me it was time to let go. But I was scared. I was unsure. And y'all know when y'all get that nagging feeling about something that it's time to let it go. And then if you can keep ignoring it, it just keeps coming back again and again and again. It keeps knocking. Hey, 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 hello, I'm still here. Oh, I'm not going away. Open up that door. You try to ignore it, but it keeps reminding you. That's what I was going through. I was at my 9 to 5, and almost a decade in, I was like, okay, it was time to go. I tried to shake the feelings off, but the pull was very strong. And what's funny about that situation was when I came, you know how when you start a new job, you all bright and shiny and happy. You're like a bright penny, right? You're a bright penny in the bunch. And you're feeling good, you're loving it. You're looking like, wow, other folks just looking not so bright, you know? And then eventually you start blending in with your environment. Eventually you're not shining anymore. That penny starts getting more dull and more dull. That's what I was feeling. I looked around my environment. I looked around and the environment was just gloomy. It was it's just it wasn't happy anymore. And the people that were there, you could tell everybody just want a way out. You had people there who got on medication just to maintain, just to show up. And for me, I didn't want medication to help me function at my 9 to 5. I didn't want that. Other people were doing it because they felt like they didn't have another option. And it's funny because I would talk to other women, and at the job it was mostly women, but when I would talk to other women, everyone I talked to had the desire to they everyone saw the need to let go. They felt like it was time, but no one had the strength, no one had the motivation, no one had the faith, no one had the drive to let go. No one had the courage, because it takes courage to let go of something that no longer serves you. It takes courage and it takes faith, believing in the next thing, but they didn't have that. There were, I was in my 20s, so a lot of the women were older and they just felt like it's too late for me. It's too late for me to go back to school and learn something else. Some of them felt like, well, I don't have a college degree and this company is working with me. If I were to let this go, I don't think I can find another job without a degree. Or it was, although I'm not happy here, the money is enough. I just saw people giving up on any types of hopes, dreams, opportunities, or anything like that. They just succumb to that's how it is. That's how it's going to be for me. Some of them had no other life relationships outside of the workplace. So imagine not being around family, not having friends outside of work, and work was a negative place because everybody comes to work not wanting to be there. They clocking in, but they really wish they were at home. And everybody got this attitude, or I'm just here for the check. So the environment was negative. The morale was extremely low. And I would try to, encourage people. I would make suggestions to my manager. So, to incorporate certain activities, different things to kind of boost the morale. And it will work for a little bit. People will get excited a little bit, and then it dies back down. The morale will go back low. And after a while, I felt like I was blending in and getting tied in to that environment. And I didn't like the person I was becoming. Negative. Oh, so negative. I didn't want to be there. If I start at 9, I'm clocking in literally at 8:59 or right at 9 o'clock. You're not going to catch me there early because I'm not trying to be there 1 minute longer than I have to. And then when I was there, I wasn't necessarily challenged as much. So I would literally get my work done in a couple of hours and then I'm done. And then I just had to look busy the rest of the day. Or I came in, walked around, talked to everybody because I didn't want to get to work. Walked around, talked to everybody until I got tapped on the shoulder to sit my tail down. Lord, the job was so funny. Woo! I felt confined. I didn't feel like I can truly express myself. And y'all know how it is in corporate America. You got to be politically correct. If you did something great, someone else took credit for it. So it was just a lot of things going on. And I didn't feel like I could rise above it. And it's hard to rise above it when everyone around you, we're all in the same boat. Nobody's rising above it. And until one day I had to say, literally, I was like, enough is enough. Because I feel like when Sunday night rolled around and I was near tears because I'm looking at Monday, like, oh my God, Monday, you're back? How is it that you're back so fast? What are you back so fast? And I started getting knots in my stomach just about Monday. And I was like, I can't do this because this is not me. I'm not operating at my highest level. I was depressed. I had to shift my mindset in order for me to rise above. It was hard. It was difficult, but I had to do it. And so the first mindset shift I had was, okay, well, maybe it's not the job. Maybe I just need a change of pace. So I thought, well, let me switch to a different department. I was managing people where I currently was. And at this one, I'm like, I no longer want to manage people. So I love data. I'm very analytical. So I thought, I like spreadsheets. So I thought, okay, I'm going to study to become a data analyst. So I thought, let me switch departments and maybe that will cure my current mood, okay? I started training for it. And so that training kind of sparked a little bit of light because I was doing something different. And I was like, okay, yeah, I could see this working. This might be turning out to be something great. So I prepped for it. I was doing double duty, my current role, and learning the new role I wanted to get into. I'm doing the thing. I'm taking courses. I'm learning. Now I'm striving. Now I'm feeling good because I feel like, your girl might have a way out after all. A year later, training after training, nothing. I didn't get the position. I didn't even know they were hiring for it because last I checked, they weren't hiring for it. So I was back to got to figure out another plan. And sometimes when God is trying to tell you, move you out of a certain situation, we can sometimes say, "Oh, well, God, let me try this. I know you want me here, but let me just try this because you don't know what you're doing." That's what we're ultimately saying. You don't know what you're doing. God is trying to get me to let go of the whole thing altogether. And here I go talking about, oh, well, let me just switch positions. Let me switch departments. Maybe that's the answer. When God is like, no, I need you here. I need you to let this go so I can work in on your next level. So I can expose you to your next level. But I didn't want to do what he was telling me to do. Why? Because I was afraid. I didn't want to let go of I had a steady paycheck. It wasn't a lot. The work wasn't difficult now. The politics and all this other stuff got on my nerves. Sometimes the work was tedious and unnecessary. You know how they just give you work just to keep you busy? That's what it was. So, although I wasn't being challenged, I was like, well, it's just little work that I can manage. I'm a superstar. I'm doing great at the job anyway, so why put myself in another situation to be challenged when I pretty much got this job wrapped around my finger. I know what I need to do. I know how to stand out. I know how to do the great things. I can do all that. So for me, it was like, well, let me just switch positions. Let me look into a different department. And God is like, no. But my fear kept me looking for other comfortable options, other options that weren't challenging, other options that didn't have to force me to completely let go because I'm trying to hold on to some parts of what kept me comfortable, what kept me secure, what kept me sure, what kept me certain. I didn't want to fully go into the unknown. So switching the department seemed like the middle ground to me. But God was like, no, I don't want middle ground. You need to be all in. So I didn't get the position. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And I had to find the courage, the faith that I needed to be able to completely let go and move on. The courage to let go was not easy. I decided, I'm a planner. Although I feel like that part of me is slowly changing. But back then, I was very much so a planner. I feel like I still am, just on certain things that I want. Things that I truly want, I'm going to plan for it. So I knew I needed to exit, but I had to come up with an exit strategy. I had to plan financially. I had to plan mentally. I had to plan on dealing with folks. Deep down inside, I knew entrepreneurship was calling me. I didn't know it was entrepreneurship at the time, but that it was calling me. So when I expressed to my husband I want out, he was like, okay, that's fine and all, but find you another job. I looked. I maybe looked like 1 or 2 days. I applied to like maybe 1 or 2 jobs. Half-heartedly. I wasn't really trying because I knew I didn't want to work for nobody else. I knew entrepreneurship was the way to go. And when those people didn't call me, when I didn't get those, I'm like, okay, God, I really got to do this. And at the time, before I decided to leave, before I decided to let go, I took a course. I have a background. I've been doing hair since I was 14, so I already know how to braid and everything else. But I know I didn't want to go back to technically braiding. But I had got my hair locked a few years back. So I was like, okay, well, I think I might like the whole locking thing. Let me try it. I took a course, enrolled in a class, and started, doing some hair. locking people's head. And I was like, oh, I like this. And so I was like, okay, God, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I don't know if this is what I truly want to do, but I'm going to step out on faith and go this route. And here's the thing. When God wants you to do something, if you try to do something else, you might step into it a little bit, like me trying to switch to a different department. I got a foot in as far as training, but it didn't go anywhere else. So don't be fooled when you get a step in. Don't be fooled thinking, oh yeah, this is it. Don't be fooled like me looking at other options. Well, let me put in this job application. Let me interview here. Just because you got that interview, don't be fooled thinking that's it. Because if it's not what God ultimately wants for you, He's going to shut it down. It will get shut down. I don't care if you took one step, two step in that direction. Great, you took some steps because you had to try it out. Some of us we're a little hard headed. Well, we got to take a little step a little bit. I guess we got to entertain ourselves a little bit, thinking, okay, well, I'm doing something. But God will shut it down. Everything I tried, God shut down. But the only thing that succeeded was me letting go of the job completely, not switching to a different department, not moving to another location in another state. I did entertain that a little bit because they had another location out of the country. Listen, I was open to moving out the country, okay? Because I was like, oh, the people here are better. And I thought that was going to take care of the situation. But God shut down every other option, but He left the path open for me to do hair. And although I went into it thinking I'm just going to do hair, God is like, oh, baby, I got so much more for you than just doing hair. I finally got the courage to let go. And y'all, when I did let go, it was the hardest thing. I was happy to let go. I was very happy because I was like, ooh, I ain't got to come back here no more. But baby, that Sunday night when I didn't have any knots in my stomach, it was great. But that Monday morning roll around when I wasn't getting up to clock in, it was like, ooh, you sure you did the right thing? You sure you know what you're doing? You sure this entrepreneurship thing gonna work out for you? The inner critic started creeping in. Y'all know in the earlier episode, we talked about that inner critic. That inner critic started creeping in. Other people like, oh, you quit your 9 to 5 to pursue entrepreneurship? They're looking at you like you're crazy. They're looking at you like you're stupid. Okay? And then every time they would say that, other men would look at, my husband like, you gonna let your wife do that? And at this point, I done let the job go. I let it go, and it was time for me to level up. It was scary. I didn't know everything I was going to do, but I had to level up. And baby, I had to release all of that to make room, to make extra space for growth. You can't grow if you're not willing to let go of things that no longer serve you. There won't be any room. You got to get rid of some stuff, get rid of some baggage to make room for the new thing. Think about your closet. Some of y'all got so much stuff in your closet and you keep buying stuff to put it in. At some point, your closet is like, okay, there's no more room. So you're going to have to get rid of some things, and then add the new stuff. So that's what I had to do. I had to let go of that job that was no longer serving me to make room for growth and for me to level up. Okay. So I can't tell you what to do. All I can say is listen to God, listen to your heart, make a plan, whatever you do. I'll do another episode on all the steps I took before I exited and the steps I took after I exited to ensure stability and so forth. But it was scary nonetheless, but I had to do it anyway. And baby, since I did it, I never looked back. That Monday I was scared. By Friday, I was like, okay, come on. I kept going. I kept doing better. I kept growing. It was amazing. And I'm looking now, looking at my past, looking all I've accomplished, and I haven't even scratched the surface. God is like, I got you. I'm going to use you, you know? So I'm so excited to see where I am now and can't wait to see where God will continue to take me. So as we close today's episode on letting go to level up, I want to remind you that releasing what no longer serves you is not a loss. It is a gift to your future self. Listen, myself right now is very happy. I'm grateful that the me before took that step and let go. Because I'm saying, thank you, past me. Thank you for making the right choice. Now I have more choices to make as I go, as I continue to level up. Because, we operate in levels. You reach one level, and then next, you look up, you got to climb another level. We operate in levels. But this current me is so thankful for me 10 years ago, and my future self is going to be thankful for all the decisions that I make today. One is including this podcast, okay? Although doing a podcast is, I'm a little nervous. They're like, girl, you on YouTube already talking about some other stuff. I'm like, yeah, but it's different. So I'm showing up differently on this podcast versus my YouTube channel about locks. So it's making, leveling up, letting go of what no longer serves you. It's making space for new opportunities, new relationships. Oh my goodness, so many new relationships, so many new opportunities. Since I let go, I was able to start my business in locks. I was able to create a mentorship program where I help other women who are dealing with letting go and wanting to have a lock business full time. I'm able to help and support them. I'm able to help them grow their business and scale. So I'm able to mentor them. People who just want to learn the technique, I've been able to give courses and helping them. Listen, and I'm in my zone of helping people and serving people. I'm in the zone. I love it. And it's great. The new relationships, my mentors, the new business friends I've met. When I go to events, which I do a lot, I go to events, I go to conferences. Whew, we're going to talk about this another time because I don't want to get into it, but I'm an introvert. So going to events with a lot of people, Lord, is difficult for me. I have to give myself so many pep talks before I get there and give myself pep talks while I'm there. And then if it's a 2-day event, that night before the second day, I'm giving myself another pep talk like, get out of your space, get out of your comfort zone and do what you got to do at these events. It's hard for me. So hard. But the new relationships I've created been amazing. And the next version of you is so thankful for what you do now. I'm thankful for what I've done in the past, and I'm thankful for what I'm currently doing now to prepare for the next version of me. Letting go isn't always easy. And it's okay to take on just one step at a time. Just take it one step at a time. Don't feel pressured. When I decided to let go of my 9 to 5, it wasn't no overnight thing. I started feeling discomfort. I started feeling like something needs to change like 3 years before I quit. And then as those feelings kept coming back, kept resurfacing every time I try to bury those feelings, eventually I was like, okay, well, I'm not leaving yet, but I took some courses. I took some courses in data analyst. I also was learning how to do locks while I was still at the 9 to 5. So I was dabbling in different things, just seeing where I would land. And it's okay to dabble in different things because God is going to make clear which one he wants you to go, which route, which path he wants you to go down anyway. So you got to take steps to the next level. You got to keep moving, keep taking steps. Just remember, you don't have to carry everything with you on this journey or the current journey that you're on. Let go of something. You ain't got to take everything. Just let go of something. And it doesn't have to be letting go of a whole bunch of things all at once. Just let go one thing at a time. Some things were only meant for a season, not a lifetime. We get so stuck. We be trying to carry everything, things that's in one season, we try to carry it into the next season. That's like us trying to take summer clothes into the winter. It just doesn't work. We try to layer, and it may work a little bit, but you can only layer so much before you burn out. You get too hot. So differentiate what's seasonal and what's lifetime. Some jobs, a lot of jobs are seasonal, and it's okay. These things supposed to be lifetime, and the current one you have ain't supposed to be lifetime. Sometimes you need to be at another job and at another job. That's just my own perspective, okay? But I encourage you to take some time to reflect on what's holding you back and what you're ready to release. Do whatever you got to do. Write it down, speak it out loud, share it with somebody that you trust. Just whatever you do, take that brave step towards freedom and growth. Y'all, it is beautiful. Now, yes, it is beautiful, but it doesn't always feel good in the moment, okay? It still be scary. I'm gonna be honest, it still be scary. Like I told y'all, after I quit, turned in my 2 weeks notice, and after I was out, that Monday was like, ooh, are you sure? Are you sure you did the right thing? It was scary. But the growth and the freedom I've had, ooh, I wouldn't trade it in for nothing. Okay. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Next Level Her podcast. If this resonate with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Connect with you on social media if we can. Leave me a review. Let me know how you're letting go and how you're leveling up to become, to move into the next level her. And remember, you are worthy of everything you desire and more. So, until next time, keep growing, keep glowing, and keep becoming her. Talk soon.